What if I told you that the most powerful force shaping your life isn't your job or your bank account or even your luck? What if it's something totally invisible? Something happening inside your own mind right this very second? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
Okay, check this out. It illustrates the whole idea perfectly. The outside event is exactly the same for two people, an unexpected setback. But look at the two realities it creates. For one person, that belief filter says, this is a threat, and boom, you feel fear. For the other, the filter says, this is an opportunity, and you feel excitement. Nothing changed on the outside, only on the inside.
And that right there, that's the core idea of this whole explainer. It's what we can call the paradox of perception. It's this wild idea that our belief system isn't just a passive mirror reflecting the world as it is, but that it's actually an active force that creates the world we personally experience.
I want you to imagine something. Picture an invisible room that exists inside of you. The walls, the floor, the ceiling, they're all built out of your beliefs. And every single thing you experience from the outside world, every conversation, every event, it all has to pass through this room first. It's this internal space, not the one around you, that truly dictates the quality of your life.
Now, when I say belief, let's be clear. I'm not really talking about religion or anything like that. For our purposes, belief is way broader. It's the whole collection of assumptions we hold to be true. Think of it as your mind's personal operating system for how reality works. And this is where it gets a little, well, mind-bending. This is the paradox right here. We're taught to think that life happens to us, and our beliefs are just a reaction to it all. But what if that's backwards? What if our beliefs actually come first, and they literally shape the world that we're able to perceive? So you're probably wondering, how does this actually work? How can a thought inside my head create a result on the outside? Let's take a look at the actual mechanics of this inner filter. Here's a great way to think about it. Your belief system is like an inner compass. It's constantly, and a lot of the time subconsciously, pointing you in a certain direction. It influences what you notice, what you ignore, how you feel, and yeah, ultimately what you do. And this is how it becomes a self-fulfilling loop. It's so powerful. It starts with just one belief, maybe something like, I am not capable. So what happens? Your attention immediately starts scanning reality for proof, right? It focuses only on past mistakes or hard stuff. This naturally leads to your behavior. You start avoiding challenges. And the result? Well, you don't succeed because you didn't try, which then confirms that original belief. The loop gets stronger, and it just starts all over again. Now, this goes so much deeper than just our actions. Because over time, these belief loops don't just shape what we do, they shape who we think we are. They actually forge our core identity, and it usually boils down to one of two fundamental stances toward life. And here they are, the two core identities that emerge from our beliefs. On one side, you've got the victim. This identity sees a world full of threats, assumes people will reject them, and so becomes passive. On the other side, you have the creator. This identity sees the same world, but sees challenges. It assumes trust, and as a result, becomes an active force in its own life. Just let that sink in for a second. The gravity of it. When your core belief is that things are always happening to you, your default response is to do nothing. You're just waiting for the world to make the next move. But then you flip the coin, and the contrast is just incredible. The moment you see yourself as a creator, as the shaper of your experience, you naturally become active. You start looking for solutions. You take the first step. The belief itself is literally the source code for your action. Okay, so if belief is this crazy powerful, are we just stuck with whatever we were given? The most empowering part of this whole idea is that the answer is a huge no. And that brings us to belief not as some fixed state, but as a conscious act, as a choice. And I love this more spiritual definition. Belief, in this active sense, is choosing to accept a deeper truth than the one that your fear is constantly whispering in your ear. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about deciding which voice you're going to listen to, which one you give your power to. And at the end of the day, these are the fundamental choices we're all making all the time. Every day, in big and small ways, we're standing at these exact crossroads. Are we going to choose the path of hope or the path of despair? Forgiveness or revenge? Are we going to operate from a place of love or a place of fear? And I mean that. This isn't just some philosophical question. It's probably the most practical one you can ask yourself. Because the inner truths you decide to water with your attention, those are the ones that are going to grow and eventually define the entire garden of your reality.
All right, let's bring all this home. Let's tie it all together with one final thought that really summarizes this entire invisible but powerful process. This is it. This is the chain of creation. It always starts inside with what you believe. That belief becomes the filter that determines what you're even capable of seeing in the world. And what you consistently see, what you focus on, ultimately creates the blueprint for how you live your entire life.
So we're going to end with the most important question of all. Not what your boss believes about you, not what your family believes about you, but what do you believe about yourself? Because as we've just seen, that single answer, well, that's the invisible force that's going to shape everything else.